What if your ordinary high school life suddenly became a battle between good and evil, but with trolls? This is Trollhunters, a Netflix original animated series that might just surprise you. This show is filled with so many crazy twists and turns that we're gonna get into. No main character holds a candle to James Lake Jr., chivalry, and heroism. To get into the story pretty much, a teenager named Jim Lake Jr. discovers a mystical amulet and becomes the first human troll hunter, protector of both his world and the troll world. It's a fantasy and adventure type of story. We see him in the story constantly struggling to balance his life and being the troll hunter. It's a typical school by day and kicking bad guys' asses after. The amulet grants him the ability to transform into a troll hunter, providing full body armor and a magically appearing and returning sword. Pretty much Jim is goated now. Early on, we are introduced to his best pal Toby and the love interest Claire. The romance between the two makes for a good story, and his friendship with Toby is truly beautiful. Bro was no chicken, let's just say that. In this first half, I kinda wanna avoid giving out any spoilers, but I'm gonna give some surface level details on two trolls that guide and deeply help Jim on his journey as a troll hunter. In the beginning, Jim had two trolls that were ride or die with him, which were Blinky and Arg. Blinky was the mentor for Jim and taught him many things, and one quote that echoed throughout the series a lot was,
"Destiny is a gift. Some go their entire lives living existences of quiet desperation, never learning the truth that what feels as though a burden pushing down upon our shoulders is actually a sense of purpose that lifts us to greater heights. Never forget that fear is but the precursor to valor, that to strive and triumph in the face of fear is what it means to be a hero. Don't think, Master Jim. Become."
Hey, certain people that's watching this video might not understand how much weight that quote holds, but the people that like have watched Troll Hunters and like know how much that holds, like, yo, feel me? Like, yo, I know y'all know. Seriously, getting back to the video, Blinky was a good and very wise and great mentor. While Blinky was the smarts of the group, Arg was definitely the strength and the comedic relief, at times with Tobes. Now that I explained some of the core characters to you, I want to get into the core of this video. I want to actually dive in a little bit deeper. Why should you watch Troll Hunters? It's worth watching because of 5 reasons: strong storytelling, character development, visuals and animation, themes, and voice acting. Let's go into the storytelling part. The reason I find it so well done is because of the rich serialized plot that grows in complexity and stakes. Guillermo del Toro's creative fingerprint is pretty much dark fairy tale vibes with mythological depth and emotional stakes. He killed it on this one specifically. The way he sets the tone with Troll Hunters, it's never a dull moment out of every episode on Netflix. I feel like it's an adventure. I'm not entirely sure if Troll Hunters is like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but with it being episodic, it sure feels like it. Having something fresh and new in every episode while still holding on to the same story overall is crazy good. I love this show, and getting into character development is an interesting topic. That's one thing that this show doesn't lack. And now I'm gonna try and go this entire point without even mentioning Jim. Usually the MC will always get development, and it's not too hard as a writer to do that. I want to focus on everything else that is a strength in Troll Hunters, you know? Just shine a little bit of light on other stuff outside of James Lake Jr., the heart and soul of the show. The supporting cast grew as the show went on. You saw them understand the stakes the world was at and really grow in this life or death situation, putting themselves in harm's way to not save their best friend or themselves, but to save people they don't even like and truly hate. That's heroism, when you show true bravery and compassion even when you don't want to. Now, I do think most Troll Hunters fans hated on Tobes in the beginning, but trust me, if you watch the show, you'll grow to love him. Funnily enough, me and my friend Donovan watched the show together, and he didn't like Tobes at all. Actually, me and him probably hated Tobes. We thought of him as this funny, annoying fat kid, but bro, I'm telling you, as the show went on, this dude gained my respect. But moving on a little bit from that, talking about the villain's development, they actually have nuance and understandable goals. The goals aren't far-fetched either, they're understandable. They're not just world domination like some terrible villains. Sometimes ideas will change and sometimes they will revert back to when they had good in their heart. I think Trollhunters provides some of the best DreamWorks villains that they got. Now, talking about the animation, I don't need to do for too long. I think just looking at the series and seeing just little clips of fire ass fights, it'll show you fuck with it. But it's a little bit more than that. The creative creature designs and the world building. I mean, going from the Heartstone to the Troll Market to Darklands and etc. truly showed how this show just differs from others. It's more than just some cool scenes, it's an entire new world that we are stepping into. If you watch Trollhunters, let me know in the comments below if you found it beautiful. Now, to talk about Trollhunters themes, they run super deep. Some of the themes capture courage, sacrifice, friendship, destiny, and dual lives. Just a few to show how this show isn't just something to write off as a little kid's show. It has many themes only teens and adults would understand. One of my favorite themes was betrayal. When you watch the show, there's a certain someone who has to deal with this, and it makes for an amazing, engaging story. Now, for my final reason as to why you should watch Trollhunters, the voice acting. Now, before we get into the main topic of voice acting, I just want to take some time to say, rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. You gave us one of the best main characters a voice, and you made them feel alive. You really made him, and it's unfortunate that it was his last role. He killed it, and I want to show you guys one of my favorite scenes in the show that kind of shows how Anton Yelchin is a great voice actor, and would have been an even better one had he gotten more time to play on this earth.
Destiny is a gift. Some go their entire lives living an existence of quiet desperation, never learning the truth that what feels as though a burden pushing down upon our shoulders is actually the sense of purpose that lifts us to greater heights.
Now, I would play more, but y'all know how YouTube copyright be, bro. They be tripping. But seriously, that's a truly emotional scene to me that holds a lot of weight. Rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. The cast of Trollhunters is pretty stacked and has some heavy hitters. Besides that, they all do a pretty good job. The voices all fit the characters and make a really good story. Moving on to my next point, I want to talk about the impact of Trollhunters and what makes it unique. Trollhunters is a very successful series, and it's an Emmy-winning show and just one show out of the Tales of Arcadia trilogy. The show isn't just for kids, it holds mature storytelling with universal appeal. What makes it so unique is that it's a rare mix of epic fantasy and grounded teen drama. Now, there are shows with this, but they usually ain't as good as Trollhunters. That's what makes it so different from anything else you watched. Del Toro's ability to make a monster sympathetic and heroes flawed really makes the production of this show different. He even manages to make world building that rewards binge watching and pays off over multiple arcs. Now, to finish this video off the right way, I want to dabble in a little bit more on the spoiler content. Please, if you haven't watched Trollhunters and don't know anything about the show, please don't watch this. I highly encourage you to actually go to the show, do your own research, watch it, come back. Now that I can let the can of fucking beans out, Angerat is the greatest villain of all time.
Today's subject.
Angerat was a very nuanced villain, and I want to get into that a little bit more. The way Angerat entered the series, he was pretty much, for lack of better words, a dog, and he was controlled, and he was pretty much put down to just do the bidding of others. The reason why I love Angerat so much is because he got betrayed by Morgana. He ended up having to take a deal with the devil, and pretty much, kind of similarly to Ghost Rider, I know it's a stretch, but hear me out for a second. The way Ghost Rider was promised something by the devil and it didn't end up happening is kind of the way Angerat is. Like, just think about it. He ran to Morgana after dealing with Gunmar. Gunmar completely obliterated, his village, and then Morgana pretty much, bro, she promised him something. She, gave, like, he asked for something and she gave him that, but there was a twist to it. It was a difference. There was something she didn't tell him. He ended up giving up his soul in exchange for his new powers, and then not only that, he ended up kind of losing what made Angerat Angerat. He no longer had that heart that he did. Under Morgana's control, Angerat was ruthless, willing to kill anybody just at the blink of an eye, even killing past Trollhunters. He was a very unpredictable person. He was intelligent, manipulative, and not only that, he was a cautious fighter. After he was freed from Strickler, I don't know, I just liked him more. Bro was willing to fucking go through anybody to kill him. That's just respect, bro. Like, he ended up treating you like a dog, and now you're actually fighting back? Bro, I can't stress it enough. This dude is one of the greatest villains of DreamWorks. Like, you guys don't get it. The themes of vengeance, revenge, betrayal, and at most of all, repentance. He is easily in my all-time top 10 greatest villains. Now, I made an entire video on the Trollhunters movie, so I'm not really going to be talking about that a lot in the spoiler section, but what I will touch on is the ending to Trollhunters, the show. By the way, the movie wasn't bad. I don't know why y'all fans be lying, but I digress. Shining a little bit more light on the final fight, it was beautiful. The fact that Jim actually turned into a troll and faced all of his demons and understood what he had to do. Jim was the strongest he had ever been at, but not only that, he was the wisest. He even went against Merlin's beliefs because he knew that he was right. I mean, the fact that they ended up having a whole fight scene because he knew what was right and he knew what was wrong was completely understandable. Merlin can't say, oh no, I'm only fighting Morgana, but we have a whole city of Arcadia to save. You made me the troll hunter to not only protect trolls, but humankind. It was completely asinine that he even thought that, and I will say that that is kind of a contradiction of his character. Merlin isn't only supposed to protect trolls, so not only that, he was just kind of being selfish with just like going after Morgana. So it was completely understandable for Jim to, you know, kind of fight back against that. And I think that that kind of showed how his character progressed a little bit more. Instead of just listening to what he was saying, he actually went against it and stood up for himself. Gunmar was also a pretty cool villain. Like, his gripe being with humans was a little bit more reasonable than it just being world domination or, oh, I want to control the world. He had a gripe with humans, so he didn't fuck with them. He believed that they should be, you know, outside, and he wanted the eternal night, pretty much nighttime, to where they could be on the surface and not have to be, you know, in the dark lands or, you know, hide in refuge in any other place. So he wasn't like the typical villain, but he wasn't all that crazy. So I like Gunmar. I think that he's 100% a B tier villain, but I don't think he's all that crazy. So I ain't gonna hype him up, but he is cool. But yeah, this video is already a lot longer than what it should be, but I'm glad I was able to put all my thoughts out on Trollhunters to this. This really would, like, it was supposed to be my last video, a send-off with Trollhunters, and really show how somebody else should watch the show. It's completely ended, so there's no more new content that's gonna come from this show. So I just wanted other people to experience what the fans have already been experiencing. So please, if you made it this far into the video, put 1 in the comments so I know you made it this far. And without that being said, hey, this was a SimStar production.
I must look for a new color.
I cannot take it. I've been with it all, guys, cause I faced it.